Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show, and a happy 4th of July to everybody here, as it is Friday, getting ahead of this Saturday 2-game slate in the WNBA. Coming off a rough Thursday, I'll be honest there, 4-8, lost 3 units on the night. 3 hooks, 4 people that I'm just flabbergasted they didn't hit, including Gabby Williams, went 5 of 15, 0 for 8 in her last 15 minutes of the game or so, really screwed us. So some brutal luck there on Thursday, but looking to get it back. I've got a few picks here already for Saturday. I've also got all the data, matchups. Caitlin Clark is still questionable, not sure if she's going to play. So we're going to take a look at how all that is going to impact our bets on Saturday. If that all sounds good, give this video a like. Let's get right into it. Let me start with the later game because it's a better game for sure. We're going to have the Valkyries in Minnesota taking on those Lynx who just smacked the Mystics in their game after the loss in the Cup there. And the key here is that these two teams have already played. Golden State lost by 11 at home, and the Lynx are better at home. The Valkyries, not as good. They're worse on the road as well. Both these teams better at home, but the Lynx getting this one at home, just won by 11, roughly a month and a half ago or so against this team. And there's some questionable stuff here. Mostly Kayla Thornton is going to be questionable for GSV. Not sure if she's going to play. She left the game versus Seattle, didn't come back in that one. And so it's not looking good for her to play here on Saturday, I would say. Plus, they've got a lot of players back here, including Salon, Fagbenle, Hayes, and Xanda Lassini. They're all going to be back here for the Valkyries coming back from either injury or most of them here, the Euros. All of these players have only played one game together, including with Kayla Thornton, who may not play. You can throw Veronica Burton in there as another key part of the rotation, but it's going to be a different look than what we've seen recently for the Valkyries. I don't love that for them, the fact that they're not going to be playing with players that have all been on the floor together over the course of the last month and a half. To illustrate what I mean here, let's look at the Valkyrie on the road and the Lynx at home. Valkyrie 2-4 on the road, 77 points per game. That's about 3.5 less than they score at home. And the points per game allowed goes up to 83. That's considerably more than they allow at home. And their plus minus when they're on the road right now is minus about 6 points per game that they're losing on average when they're on the road. The Lynx at home are undefeated. They're scoring about 3 more points per game there than on the road, 87 a game, giving up just 70.8 points per game when they play at home. That defense is suffocating, especially in their own building there. And that's a plus minus of 16.3 that they're winning on average by when they play at home. This thing right around, I believe, 8.5, 9 points for in favor of the Lynx at home. Definitely leaning towards them to win this one by double digits. The lineup here for the Valkyrie is probably going to be a little bit questionable. Like I said, you got a lot of asterisks next to players like Salon, Billings, Talbot, all of that because we're going to have a full lineup here for the Valkyries, probably minus Kayla Thornton. So it's tough to kind of project who's going to start, but if Kayla Thornton is in fact out, this seems to be the best look for the starting lineup for the Valkyries. And I would say Burton and Hayes are really the only 2 players that you can depend on for minutes and usage in this game, with all the questionables around the roster here for them in this game. But for the Lynx, it's going to be the normal stuff here. We've got a really low total, though. All the props for the Lynx players, we're going to take a look at that now. They're all really low because this total is really low. It's 155.5. Expecting a defensive battle from both sides. Jumping into these player props, going to be using Props Madness as always, #1 sports betting research tool for all things hoops and player props, especially. If you do want to jump in, use that code LYB right there. That'll get you 25% off your first month. Also gives you access to a 7-day free trial. See if you like it out. Offers you plenty of content that you're not going to get in breakdowns and matchups from other places, right? Specifically the shot charts here and the play type analysis that comes into play really for the matchups. But starting with Nafisa, still getting a low number here. I've told you guys I'm really just looking for these numbers that they're placing too low, and even in a game that's at about 155.5 for the total, like I was saying, pretty low. But for Fiza, 20.5 points is just way too low. She's gone over this number almost 75% of the time on the season. Had 24 against the Valkyrie, only shot 44% in that game, and doesn't often get there when she shoots less than 50%, which is what she's at on the season. But she got to the free throw line 7 times, and I still think she's going to be capable of getting down there. The Valkyrie don't want to give up easy buckets. They will foul a bit more if you're driving to the hoop, and I think Fiza's going to have the best matchup for sure. Good forwards for sure, everywhere on the wing. This defense overall really good down low, but I think Fiza's mid-range, everything before you get into the restricted area here is still available against the Valkyries, who, like I said, they're #1 within 5 feet because they're going to collapse and keep you from getting buckets right next to the basket. But Nafisa's going to be able to score on the jumper, and like I said, get to the free throw line at least enough to get there on the point. So I like her on the over 20.5 points. That's probably my favorite. That is my favorite bet for the Lynx. And then a couple here for the Valkyries. like I was saying, Hayes and Burton are the only two I trust, and I really trust Burton here over 8.5 points in this one. And really, what this comes down to is when you look at her playing with everybody that's going to be available. Let's say Kayla Thornton's available, just for being cautious. Hayes, Salon, and even Fagbenle, I want to put in there. Zandalicini is going to be back out there. Even with all these players available, let's take out, I think it was Hayes who missed a bunch, but with all these players out there, she's still looking at the same usage, right? Like the same amount of shots per game, a few more minutes even, and the ability to play without being the focal point of the offense, right? Like too often without those players alongside her, she was unable to score quite as often because she was the focal point. Now you've got a lot of players in there that, look, she's at 10.5 per game. She's at like 14 per game with all those players. So she's the one who gets unaffected, but we're getting a really low prop because they think she's going to be impacted negatively by all these players returning for the Valkyries. And I just don't think that's the case for her. So I like her to get 10 plus points in this game for some nice plus money. And then Salon, what I'd be looking at here for her is the boards. We're still getting a really low number. This makes sense that like the books aren't quite sure what to do with these players. But if Salon gets more than 25 minutes, gets close to 30, she's good for this, for the board. She's averaging about 6 per game on the season as is. And when she gets 30 plus minutes, she's over in all of them. If you give her 28 plus minutes, she's still looking at a really nice hit rate, averaging 7.5 boards. It's really only when she plays less than 25 minutes or less. Let's put her ceiling at like 25 minutes. That's when you see her go way down, right? And there's been a couple games where she's played under that, just 2, right? For the most part, she's getting more than 25. She's getting 30. So I think we can bank on her getting a good slate of minutes. We saw Fibic come back from the Euros and still get her full bulk of minutes in this last game. I would expect the same for Salon. And you have the added fact that Thornton not as likely to play in this one, or at least to be hobbled. That should mean a bit more usage and time for Janelle Salon. Getting a rematch in the other game here. It's the Sparks at the Fever, and it's a revenge spot for Indy, who lost a couple games ago to this Sparks squad, then won the Cup. They beat the Wings, and then they won the Commissioner's Cup, right? So they are looking good since that loss to the Sparks or the Fever, but this was a really bad loss for them. I'll say that. The Sparks have won now twice in their last 9 games, and one win was against the Fever, one was against the Aces, and then losing to some bad teams in there as well. In their last 9 games for the Sparks, they've lost every game by at least 7 points. The only team to not cover 7.5, which is what this spread is for Indy. The only team not to cover minus 7.5 against the Sparks was the Sky, and they still won by 7 points against this Sparks squad. So Indy would have won this game pretty handily. They were up by 8 going into the 4th, and then lost the 4th by 18 points to lose by 10. So I'm going to come back and bet on them minus 7.5. I really think this is a good spot for them in this matchup, with or without Caitlin Clark, who is once again questionable to play. She did go through a little bit of a shoot around here on Friday, the day before the games. So, it's trending upward for her. But if she doesn't play, we're going to get Ari McDonald out there once again. Very capable backup guard, by the way. And then everything else will stay the same. Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, Natasha Howard, Aaliyah Boston. On the other side for the Sparks, it's going to be the same. Allman started in the last game. I would imagine she starts again. Not much has changed for them. Petty wasn't working out. Barkley hasn't worked out. Only got 5 minutes. Barker only got the 5 minutes in the last game for them. So I do think she'll start out there once again, but plenty of other players getting time for the Sparks. I just don't trust them. They're a bottom 2, bottom 3 defense in the league all season, especially in their last 7 games or so. This is just shaping up for another nice win for the Indiana Fever. So with Caitlin Clark questionable once again, I really don't know what I want to do with these Indiana Fever players. You can see there's no props available for Clark, so it does seem, again, like she's leaning towards not playing in this game once again. We'll see. It's legit 50-50. What I do like, though, is for on the other side, I tried to go with Dearica Hamby in the last game where they played. She went under, as you can see right here, 14 points on just 8 shots. But this defense is most vulnerable down low, right? And she's the one scoring right next to the basket. You can see their 10th limiting points right next to the bucket, which is 4th worst. And that is where she scores 69%, nice, of her points. So she's the player going down low to score, despite the fact that Azura's kind of listed as the center. She's scoring most of her points off spot up and from the outside. Not even half her points come next to the bucket. That's where Dearica Hamby works. So the slow-footedness of Boston and Natasha Howard on defense has led to players like Asia Wilson, who we bet on last game, scoring 20-plus points pretty consistently. So I think we go back to Dearica and give her the benefit of the doubt that just one bad game in this time frame here, she should be good for close to the 17 points that she's averaging on the season. So I still think we're getting a bit of value because of the fact that she didn't go over in the last game, but that's not really concerning me in this one. So this is my favorite bet as of right now. It's a Sparks player, and we'll have to wait to see about the Indy players. Going to be giving that out in the VIP, obviously, for Saturday's bets. All right, a quick reminder too, if you do want to jump in for a free month of the VIP, you can use any of the sports books that I have listed in the description of the video. They're all linked there. If you sign up, use code LYB, I'll get you a free month. You can see what it's about in the VIP Discord, where we have a lot of guys talking about plenty of stuff, including the VIP cappers winning at baseball right now. I will say, especially Buddy Irons up more than 100 units on the season. We're going to keep coming back out with these WNBA bets as we figure this thing out moving forward. So until I see y'all next, happy betting.